So in the last video we talked about variables, and you can write a pretty simple program with just some variables and some addition and subtraction, and but really what makes a program is the if statement. So let's start to talk about the if statement, and this is also known as conditional processing. So let's start a new project, and then I'm going to do an empty project. That's fine. Okay, so normal stuff. I'm going to add a new source file, and I'm going to call it main.cpp. Okay, so main.cpp. And we have our file. So let's write in our normal stuff, and let me make this bigger. That should be big enough. Let's see. Okay, let's do. Okay, so this is our normal stuff. Let's go ahead and make sure that I typed everything correctly. Okay, so we've got our boilerplate code. So let's talk about if statements. So let's create a variable, a string, my name. We'll say my name is equal to Chris. Okay, and so with an if statement, but basically what we get to do is a test, and we say if, and then we do some sort of test of some sort inside these parentheses, and we say if that test is true, then we execute the code between the curly braces. So let's say if my name is equal to Chris, and we'll say I'll just say I'm writing a program about myself. And then let's go ahead and run this. There, okay. So we can see that it did a cout and said I'm writing a program about myself. So what exactly happened here? So we've got what's known as the equality operator. So in this one we're doing assignment. We're saying assign Chris to my name. In this one we're actually doing is checking equality. And note that when we do string checks, we'll run into integers and floats in a little bit, but when we do string checks we are it's case sensitive. So this won't match. If I have a lowercase c and a capital C inside my comparison, it didn't match. So let's make sure to always be aware of that when we do string comparisons. And we can actually do this. We can compare two strings that exactly match. So that matches. And again, if we change it to something else, it's not going to match, and then nothing's going to happen. We can do comparisons amongst, so we can say my name and test name, and we're going to say that the name we're testing against is also going to be Chris. So we can say if my name equals test name, then we can say that we're writing a program about ourselves. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let's do some tests with some integers. And real quick, I should note something that so if we have my name on the left and test name on the right, it's the exact same thing as if we had put test name on the left and my name on the right. So let's write it like that, so you can see that this is kind of has some of those qualities from algebra that that we can use. So we're going to say test name is equal to my name. Okay, we can see that. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. So if you need to copy this down, go ahead and pause it and type it in and test some things and play with it. Let's go ahead and let's do some integers now. We're going to say integer age, and then we're going to say 30. Let's say age is equal to 30. So we're going to say if age is less than 65, we're going to do a cout. You can't retire just yet. Okay, and so what happens is because age, which is 30 here, it's less than 65, it's going to say that we can't retire yet. Okay, so that matched. Let's change it. We're going to say if it's less than or equal to, and still it matches. And say we're to change it to 64. It should still say it. So let's change age to 64. And now because we've changed it to a less than or equal, if we change it to 65, it's still going to say that we can't retire. And if we change it to 66, now we can. So it doesn't say anything. If we were to change this just to a less than sign as we originally had and change it to 65, then it would say that we're allowed to retire. Oh, yeah, so it doesn't say anything. So that's, we'll get into the else statement in a minute here. Let's do one more test with the float. So we'll get rid of that. So we say we've got some miles per gallon for our car. And then we say our car gets 40 miles per gallon. Let's say 40.5. And then if we get greater than 35 miles to the gallon, we're going to print to the screen. We're going to say your car gets good gas mileage. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's introduce some extensions to that. So now we're going to have what's known as the if-else. And so the if-else is basically if the first condition matches, the first thing happens. So we have our cout in here. And otherwise, we're going to do the stuff inside here. So in the first case, we're going to say our car gets good gas mileage. And in the second case, we're going to say your car gets bad gas mileage. I think that's how you spell it. Close enough. So in this case, our car gets good gas mileage. Now let's change it to 20.0 miles per gallon. Now it's going to say that we get bad gas mileage. So that all applies to floats, ints, and strings. So let's add one more here. And then let's say else if our car gets, if MPG is greater than 25, we're going to say our car gets average gas mileage. I think it's spelled like that. We'll just be consistent in our misspellings. So start without debugging. So right now we get bad gas mileage, but say we change this to 30 miles per gallon, then all of a sudden we get average gas mileage. So what happened is it didn't match this first statement. It did match this second statement. So then what happens is this stuff in here is executed, and then it didn't need to execute this else because it already executed this else if, and so once it was done with this, it just kind of moved to here. It moved on. It didn't need to do an else because it had already matched an if statement. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. In the next video, we'll talk about some of these ands and ors inside of if statements.